Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and I am autistic. I have ADHD and a few other neurodivergencies, so make sure you check them out with the different playlists that I have. I just wanted to pop on here today, kind of talk about a lot of different things actually. I have a lot on my mind. The first thing that's funny is I looked back on my, when did I last post my last video? And it was at the time of filming this, 3 days and 20 hours ago. And I was like, wow, I thought it was longer. I thought it'd been a longer time. But part of being ADHD is time blind. And this last week has just been kind of a blur. And it's been a blur because I've been extremely dysregulated after the 4th of July. So this is the first 4th of July that I've had with an official autistic diagnosis. And I just did not realize how much this holiday dysregulates me. Having fireworks go off in my neighborhood, because it's not illegal where I am, and people buy like the huge ones. I forgot what they're called, but like the mortars, I think, where they go way up under the tree line, like gigantic. Sounds like cannons going off from like 7 p.m. Actually, it was all day on the 4th, but starting at 7 till about 12:30 a.m., 1 a.m. is constant. And of course I, put in some earplugs, but it was just between the noise and the stress that my kids were under and the stress that my pets were under, which added stress to me. I was so dysregulated and I didn't think about that ahead of time. And several weeks ago, I was trying to make an appointment for my kids to get some cavities filled. And when the receptionist said, "Oh, are you free on July 5th?" I looked at my calendar and it was blank, and I did not think about how I might be dysregulated after the 4th. So that's why diagnosis is important, to have this awareness and be able to accommodate these ways, because next time I know nothing on the 5th. Nothing. The 5th needs to be a recovery day. But I now know this. And so I had to scheduled an appointment in the morning for my son and an appointment in the afternoon for my daughter. And the dentist office is also a place where we struggle because it's very, very loud. There's always drills and lots of noises. It's a kind of open air office. And we don't like going to the dentist on a good day. And then my poor kids were also dysregulated from the 4th of July and then having to get cavities filled. That was very bad planning on my part. And then I also had several other errands that I had to run on Wednesday. And so I was already dysregulated. I had to push through. I had to mask through some of that. And then, so I was kind of like zombie-ish. And then Thursday, oh my gosh, like seriously, I just sat here on this couch for a couple of hours in the morning, just like zoning out really, because I was so still dysregulated. My brain, I felt like, you've heard of brain fog. I've experienced this brain fog a couple of times, once when I had COVID, and then a couple of times when I've been highly dysregulated, where it's like brain is just not firing. Like I had thoughts, I could not hold on to the words that I wanted to say. It was extremely frustrating. And so finally I'm like, you know what? Don't fight it. Recovery is part of being autistic. We really need to embrace and realize that our brains literally need recovery time. I want parents of autistic children to understand that if they plan a birthday party that their kid has to go to, a holiday event, if they plan something that dysregulates their kid, then they need to plan the next day, the next several hours, depending on like the scale of the event, for recovery time. Do not make your kid keep pushing through, because you're just going to have meltdowns and burnouts. So finally, when I just like, okay, we're going to rest today, Amanda. I had things I wanted to do yesterday, but it wasn't healthy for me to try to force myself to do them. And I am very lucky and privileged that I have a life where I do get to create my own schedule for the most part. So I just was like, okay, rest. And I did kind of get lost in keep working on organizing my laundry room a little bit, because that was just something kind of physical that I could do. Think of like stimming things that you can do to help regulate yourself. And this wasn't a difficult project. It's kind of one I've been working on for a couple weeks now. And anytime there was something that like, okay, I need to make a decision about this item. Like, do I want to keep it? Do I want to get rid of it? Do I want to rehome it in a different spot in my house? Like anything that was like difficult for my brain, I just set that aside. Like we're just doing the physical cleaning of the laundry room, and like throwing out some stuff. Getting lost in that for a couple hours actually did help me. And I say that because it's not like I was trying to do something productive. The end result was productive. So that's a bonus. But I was looking for something that I could just do without having to use much of my brain. I needed, and then I also just kind of allowed myself just to rest, lay on the couch and just rest. But I think because of my ADHD side, because I'm ADHD, like I wanted to take a nap, but like I needed to be doing something. And I think that was kind of the ADHD part. So I just found a task that I could just do. And today I woke up feeling great. Like the brain fog's lifted, and I'm feeling so much more regulated after giving myself yesterday just permission to have it be a recovery day. So the 4th of July plus the follow-up with the dentist, it took me 2 days to feel regulated after that holiday. And that's why it's autism awareness. It's just so important for autistic people to understand what we are going through, how the change of the routine and the sensory overwhelm really affects us, not just in that moment, but also after that. And I will also say on July 4th itself, I was dysregulated in a different way. Instead of like the brain fog and the exhaustion, it was almost like I was hyper. I don't remember if July 4th was the day that I posted my last video. I know I did I think like 8 TikToks that day. But it was just like hyper energy, knowing that that evening was going to be really tough. And so I was dysregulated in the opposite direction. So it's like hyperactivity, stress of the actual evening holiday, 2 days of dysregulation and recovery. So, okay, now I'm gonna like abruptly change topics. I have so many video ideas that I want to do that it's like, I'm just gonna put 2 topics in one video today. A lot of times I try to keep it to one topic, but because of algorithms, but you know what? Y'all know I don't really love the algorithm, and I just like being me. So, this one is a very important PDA profile aha moment I had. Okay, so to catch you up, I have some longer videos that specifically talk about PDA profile, but PDA profile is pathological demand avoidance. It's a subtype of autism. Not every autistic person has this profile. The more affirming term that a lot of autistic people like to use is pervasive pathological demand. Oh yeah. And pervasive drive for autonomy. I actually like both of them. Like, I feel like both labels fit. A lot of people do not like the pathological word, but sometimes it just, and maybe I need to research that word a little bit more, but like the reaction that I get is so out of my control when I call it my PDA flares that to me the word pathological kind of fits. But so here is an interesting aha moment that I had. So one of the errands that I had to run on Wednesday was to get gas. I don't know how many of y'all get anxious when your gas tank gets close to E. I'm sure that a lot of the ADHD people out there probably push it until it gets to the E or past the E. And I bet the autistic people out there are like, hey, I've got a fourth of a tank, it's empty. That's me. A fourth of a tank equals empty gas tank to me. Well, this time it was lower than a fourth of a tank. It was causing me anxiety. I'm like, I've got to go get gas today. So I was at the gas station, and where I pulled up, the trash can was right next to my door of my van. And I was down at the other end of my van doing the pump thing, right? And this unsheltered person comes up, like he's walking towards my van. Then I realize he is walking and he's started to dig to the trash can. He was looking for food. And I had this like incredible, well, okay, it wasn't right in that moment. But later, when I processed the event, I had a realization it was PDA. So he could not find food. I was just like concerned because my door was open and my purse was right there. And not that unsheltered people should be expected to be thieves. That isn't the thing. But like, I just realized, oh, I left my purse in a very vulnerable spot. I shouldn't have done that. So I was kind of thinking about that because my door was wide open. I can be very trusting and naive with certain things, and I put myself in unsafe situations sometimes because I often lack awareness about my surroundings. But anyway, this gentleman did not even look at me. He was just concerned about the trash, and then he walked on. And as he was leaving, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, he was so hungry. He's looking in the trash. And then I was like, I wonder if I have any cash that I could offer him. And then, so I got to my purse and I looked and I did have some dollars. But then by the time, because I'm a slow processor, by the time all of this actually like played out, he was like way, way, way across the parking lot. Like I could not have even called out to him. He was that far away because of, I process slow sometimes. So I was not able to offer him any money because I was still pumping my gas, all of that. Okay. But then I thought about it, and when an unsheltered person will approach me and ask, hey, do you have any change to spare? My immediate gut reaction is always, no, why are you asking me that? And now with language, I realize, oh my God, that is PDA, because otherwise I am the kind of person who does want to help somebody who is in need if I am in a spot where I can offer help. I like to donate to organizations that help unsheltered people. I like giving to food drives. I like, I had some socks that I bought that didn't fit right. And so when I drove past this person that was always at this one corner, I made sure one day to have them in my van so that I could ask them if they wanted these socks that I didn't fit any, or they weren't the right size for me. I was like, would these be something you're interested in? And they took them. So when somebody asks me directly, do you have any spare change? My reaction has never made sense to who I am as a person, and it always has left me kind of confused. It's because when somebody, an unsheltered person asks me straight up for change, that is perceived as a demand on my system. And when people with PDA have a perceived demand, they hit fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. And so mine almost gets like a fight trigger, like, don't you dare ask me that. No. Some people might get the fawn response and be like, oh, yeah, here, take it. But for me, my PDA is usually triggered with a no. So going forward, I now have this. So it like overrides the logic center of your brain a lot of times. So logically, in most cases, I would be more than willing to help this person out if I had the means available in that moment. But because of my PDA profile, when directly asked if I will help, my answer is always no. It's interesting. Now that I know that, the next time somebody asks me if I have change, and I do happen to have change on me, a lot of times I don't carry change. I don't know if now having that awareness, if I can like override my PDA or not. I guess it also probably would depend on a lot of factors, like how they asked, what the situation is. I don't know. It was just a really big aha moment, and I wanted to share it because a lot of people struggle with understanding the PDA profile of autism. And so whenever I see like very clear-cut examples in my life, I want to share them with you, because that might make it where you can see how it shows up in your life if you are also a PDA profile of autism, autistic. But okay, I'm going to pause and see if there was anything else I wanted to add to this video. Okay, just one quick one because it's kind of trending and just curious. So I don't know if you've heard that there's a new app called Threads. And historically, as an autistic person, I am not a trendsetter. Trends, I'm always wary of. I don't like new things. I don't like change. It took me freaking forever to get on TikTok. And I love TikTok now, by the way, but I wish I'd started it when it was really popular. And then even YouTube, like not everybody is a creator on YouTube, but even using the app YouTube, I mean, it was years before I started even being a viewer of YouTube. Facebook was out for a long time before I started using Facebook. And I think two apps that I was earlier, adaptor was Pinterest. I got on their waiting list. I was like, I'm all about organizing the internet. And Instagram. I really liked Instagram. I never have really liked Twitter, and I think it's because my aphantasia, because text-based is just not my go-to because I can't visualize in my head. But I decided when I heard all this buzz about Threads, which is like the Twitter replacement, I'm like, you know what? This is very, very uncomfortable for me. I don't like jumping onto apps right away. I like to just take my time, see how things go. But I went ahead and I downloaded it, and I've done a couple posts. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if I will like Threads or not, but I'm just kind of pointing this out in this video just because as an autistic person, I'm curious if you want to adopt to new apps like that quickly, or are you more one to be like, let's see how this goes? So anyway, I am on Threads. Same, I am Mindblind username if you are on Threads and want to find me there. I am Mindblind on all of the accounts. And just really quickly for those who are new, I am Mindblind came out of me being aphantasia, where I don't visualize at all in my mind. And so a lot of times that's called mind blindness. And so I just thought that was a really cute username. And so it wasn't until after I created my username of I am Mindblind that I learned I was autistic, but I decided to just stick with I am Mindblind because I feel like it's unique and I like it. So that's good enough reason as it is. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video.